Just your breath is not pretty.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you are sleeping. We all know that tying a knot for lifetime with someone isn't easy. But in the case of Big Ed and Rosemarie, it isn't about commitment issues, it's about their weird and strange personalities that can make you call off your wedding. So, in today's video, you will look at: why is 90 Days Fiancés Big Ed and Rosemarie Vega highly controversial? Why are they highly controversial? Here is a sneak peek. There are some sketchy significant cast members of the 90 Day Fiancé franchise series who have been featuring since its premiere in 2014. But the most controversial stars who have gained all the controversies related to them and who remained highlighted even after their season ended are Big Ed Brown and Rosemarie Vega. Their roller coaster bond on the show added extra spice and salt in their journey. In fact, I have learned as a viewer why the majority of the fan following of this series can't forget Big Ed. Actually, it's all because of the weird and cringy ways he had treated her on the show. In fact, let me add that this particular 90 Day star, Big Ed, who is quite disputed, has also sought attention of the viewers due to the notorious things he had done on his journey on 90 Days Fiancé. He is still famous for his Hellmann's mayonnaise hair treatments and yet of course, and whatnot. He possesses some childish cringe behavior which has skyrocketed his popularity among those who had never watched him in the show. On the show, he had been so weird and made Rosemarie awkward in his presence because of his non-serious and pathetic complaints that had nothing to do in reality. I mean, who does that? Asking your partner to shave your legs in front of a public audience because you don't like it.
Last night when I noticed that your legs were kind of like mine, they were hairy. So I'll make you a deal. If you shave your legs, I'll shave my beard.
Why?
Not just that, he even had put Rosemarie, his ex-fiancé's family, down in front of camera, God knows how many times, and even lied to her about so many things, which made her upset and whatnot. Due to all such things, Big Ed remained in the highlights of the show. From the very start of their journey on the show, it was quite obvious that he had made little to no effort to know about his fiancé's nature and culture, because as Rosemarie, who is also named as Rose, is actually from the Philippines, and he started to speak with her in Spanish, when the two of them united for the first time at an airport after a long-awaited meeting. Although she was able to understand English, Big Ed doesn't know about it, and guess the fun part of this story.
How are you?
Fine.
Are you real?
Yeah,
Oh my God, you're so real. You're so beautiful. Oh my God.
Her native language isn't Spanish but Tagalog. I mean, what a biggest blunder you have done, Big Ed. Not just that, he even thought that she might have an imperfect ability to comprehend the English language, and even took it as a sign of her low intelligence. What a shame. So therefore, he started talking to her as though she were a child who couldn't understand whatever he was about to say, especially when he was describing the vasectomy procedure that he had. He uttered "it's a snip snip" and used gestures of scissors. Wow. By the way, the valid reasons which literally made them cancel their relationship and made them the most controversial, actually when Big Ed Brown started showing a tendency to be bossy around Rosemarie and, in short, told her that she should brush her teeth more often and used mouthwash as her breath isn't fresh.
Just your breath is not pretty.
Shave her legs.
Last night when I noticed that your legs were kind of like mine, they were hairy.
And that she should go get tested for venereal diseases to know she hasn't got any sort of STD sort of diseases from her past relationship. What a red flag.
You test me?
A test for, I don't know if you understand it, it's STD.
If I were in Rosemarie's place, I would slap him straight for even showing an audacity for asking such a baseless question from the person who he wanted to marry. I mean, what? By the way, all this nonsense blossomed when, however, Big Ed went to Rose Vega's place to meet her for the first time, where tensions between them started. Weird scenes that made them controversial. Lied about his height. We have seen Big Ed talking a lot about the importance of honesty in a relationship on the show, especially when he wanted to know regarding Rose's past. Although he was the one who lied in the relationship in the first place, that was one of the things he did, and told her about his height, that he's 5'2". when in reality nothing was even close to it. Because his height measures up to 4.11. I mean, what a hypocrite. When the couple arrived at the airport to meet each other, Rose got stunned when she looked at him for the first time, because he was significantly shorter than her. Even you can clearly see a burden of disappointment on her face. She even mentioned in front of the crew that she wasn't expecting that from Big Ed, as he had lied in a politely awkward moment. But still, she did not make a fuss about it. According to him, he thought if he told her that he has the same height, maybe he would have a chance. But if you search him on his Instagram, throughout his posts, you can still find the comments of fans of the show asking him why he lied to Rose about how tall he is.
Tall to me. But
Tall, more tall.
short to me.
Take a test for venereal diseases. Nowadays, it's become a very normal thing to ask your partners to take an STD test just to make sure that your last relationship didn't get you a disease. But if you refuse to take an STD test and singled out your partner to take an STD test, then you are nothing less than an idiotic jerk. That's what Ed did to Rose. He asked her to get an STD test and refused to take one. Someone with no dignity would ask this from his partner and not do what you expect from your partner to do. The real thing to feel disgusted by him is that he asked her this awful favor. On the very first date, they both went out. He asked this before having a dessert, and her expressions could tell you how embarrassed she was. He even refused to take a test because he's in the Philippines and wanted to take one after getting back to the States, but she has to do that no matter what. Hypocrisy.
You test me?
A test for, I don't know if you understand it, it's STD. If
Asking Rose to shave her legs. This particular scene is one of the cringe situations when viewers got to see Big Ed and Rose lying in bed together. And Big Ed was seen asking Rose for a smoochy kiss, and Rose replied to him that his beard gave her a beard burn. Then Ed immediately asked her that he would shave his beard for her, but she would shave her legs first. Actually, some foreigners participants do not come from financially strong backgrounds just like Rose, who is a single mother of her son. So they have different hygiene practices because for her, it is quite hard to make ends meet. So shaving her legs would never be her priority, especially for her. I guess he had never learned from his past blunders, which ended his marriage. I mean, as he decided to ask with so much audacity from his girlfriend that she should shave her legs, as he finds legs more attractive without hair. She shaved her legs and then showed to Big Ed. He replied with 2 words, "Very nice. Wow."
very nice.
You too. Shave your beard.
All that for these 2 words. Rose literally got offended and looked quite uninterested. And it is obvious that unlike the STD test, this is not a health concern query to ask, but it was a personal preference that Ed was seen forcing on her in the name of love.
Your legs were kind of like mine. They were hairy.
Calling her a gold digger. When you have insecurities related to you, you start asking people why they are even with you and what is the real reason behind this. What made them stay with you? That's exactly for what Ed seemed concerned about, as he was very much insecure about his looks. As he knew that Rose is younger and prettier than him, and he is quite older than her. So he kept asking her weird questions that he had thought that Rose was with him for his money. In fact, at the marketplace, they even fought when Big Ed questioned her intentions. Even he claimed that she's scamming him for money. Well, if you ask me, then I would really want to suggest to Big Ed that he should know that this is the worst, mean, and last thing you could say to your girlfriend. But if he wants to stay with Rose, then he should keep such silly things off the table.
Keep the change.
No,
Yeah.
no, keep the change.
It's a 10 pesos.
Weird reaction to Rose's breath. Nobody really likes a bad breath, but if your love of life or your partner has a bad breath, it can be a big turnoff for real. But never start pointing it out at your partner's face if they have. It's decently better to give them a hint rather than making them feel uncomfortable. But that's what Ed did. I mean, what else we can expect? He went straight to Rose and told her that she had a bad breath. Even the most strange and awful thing he did he gave her an oral hygiene packet of mouthwash, a brush, and toothpaste. Before he was about to give her that packet, Rose became quite excited about it as she thought that it must be something nicer to her girl. But what did he actually get for him? What a major embarrassment. Then Rose told him with a disgusting face, as it was clear from her facial expression, that she didn't like this act of Ed, that she has an ulcer, that's why her breath isn't so good. I guess these scenes and facts are way enough to put light on why is 90 Days Fiancés Big Ed and Rosemarie Vega highly controversial.
Just your breath is not pretty.
Well, that's all folks for today. So thank you so much for watching the video.